In America, NFL football has been a big deal for quite some time, and the new rage is all about fantasy. Fantasy football. You've probably heard of it by now, but here are some things you may not know. The originator of fantasy football was one of Oakland's very own, Wilfred or Bill Wickenbach, owning partner of the Oakland Raiders. He created the inaugural 8-team league called the GOPPPL, Greater Oakland Professional Pigskin Procrastinators League, in 1962. The purpose of the league was to bring together Oakland's finest gridiron forecasters to pit their respective brains and cash against each other, in the hope that it would lead to closer coverage of daily happenings in professional football. In 1989, the first public fantasy football game was created. Today, fantasy football is one of the most popular games played in corporate America. In the U.S. and Canada, 27 million people play fantasy football, which adds about $3 billion to the economy every year. So, why is fantasy football becoming so popular?
Well, I guess I think that it's gaining so much popularity because football's a game where there's not too many games in the season, and typically people only root for a local team. So this way, you've got players in all the different teams, so all the games are interesting.
I know why. Because normally people root for one team, and then usually that team probably sucks. So when you have a fantasy team, you have all these players that are your team, So so it makes all the games interesting.
How's it going?
Not good.
Why is that?
Well, because evidently I picked bad players.
I, for one, am kicking butt. Evidently, I picked great players. This is my first time playing fantasy football, and I'm having a great time. Not just because my team's #1, but also, like the guy said, it's a really good way to make all the games interesting. And it's super fun to do with a group of friends. And for you guys out there, or maybe even gals too, for those of you out there with significant others who don't appreciate the time you spend watching football, this is a great way to get them involved too, and really get them into the game. After all, anyone can play fantasy football. Unfortunately, it's too late to start a fantasy football league this year, but there's always fantasy basketball. That's coming up. Alright you guys, that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me on Fit for Life. I'm Sarah Coco, and I'll see you next time.